What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is your man Cam. I got my man Cleavon with the close up today up in the Northwest. How's the weather going up there?
Oh man, it's chilly. It's chilly, Cam. It's sunny, but it's still about 45 degrees outside.
It's mid-April, man. Come on, what's going on?
It's Seattle at its finest. I mean, I can't really speak to anything more than that. That's just how we do.
Thank you, fans, again for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. I just gotta mess with my guy up there a little bit. I'm not gonna tell them, fans, that it was 90 degrees the other day. I'm not gonna mention that. But we got heat humidity coming right around the corner over there. I would take one of those 45 degree and sunny days. I certainly would. Here in the future, I wish I could put them in a bank, actually. But we got a lot to talk about, man. NBA is hot and heavy. Cleveland's posted published some articles, fans, that I need your feedback on, fans. I need your feedback on the content that Cleveland has posted. When you get a chance, check it out. Voice of the Fans, voiceofthefans.org. Check out what he has to say. But we're gonna get into the NBA, the play-in tournament, the actual playoffs that are being decided right now. We got 3 of the 4 playoff spots actually already decided, and we're going to talk about that. We got some NFL storylines we're going to talk about. And then, as always, man, we got some boxing to talk about, Cleveland, this week. Some huge matchups coming up. And then, as always, we're going to get to this week in the history segment and then in the show with the quote. But like we get started every week, we've got a little montage of the podcast, of the life of our podcast, Cleveland. So let's get that going. Just like this.
Who am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name
Cameron.
Cam Buford.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford right here.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
This is a big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
As a competitor, how much does that competitive spirit get in there and say, I want to fight this guy? I want to get some of this guy.
Of course I want to fight all the guys. Of course that. But at the same time, like I keep telling you, it's a business.
Talk about that loyalty for a moment.
I'm staying there to try to make a change. Get back to the youth, get back to my community and show them that there is hope that you can make it out. Only thing is you just got to be dedicated. You got to keep your head down and stay on this course that you're heading towards.
Think about it like this. The promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter. The fighter works
for the promoter. Okay.
If you can see, you can believe.
So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
On your team, is ball number 2 option or your number 3 option? On your team's team.
30 nights a year, he's my number 1 option. 30 nights.
Can I finish right now? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me?
What do you
Which one?
What do you think about these upcoming?
Okay. Like I was saying before.
Every game's a new game, so each one's a different experience, different defense, different players, different game plan. So.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the
Oh
Fan
my goodness!
continues to
I'm in
evolve,
You were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
Real ones know what's going on, right?
Like you said, it's a different voice, so I think it's a big part of my game, and every time I step on the floor, I just want to represent myself.
You play this game and you don't turn up winning a championship, then why are you playing for?
I'm happy for the Mariners. I'm I'm happy.
Yeah,
for the whole
yeah,
thing.
no, yeah,
I
Cam.
was trying to see
Nobody.
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
Look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do
Real,
knowing
real
that.
surprised at that, Cam.
Hey, come here. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's Big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sports. Hey, man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, fan. Thank you for making our voice your choice. We appreciate you guys for tuning into the podcast. Wherever you're listening to the podcast, however you're listening to the podcast, we appreciate it. Try and get in the chat. Let us know how it is that you're listening or watching the podcast or H&B Media TV, Voice of the Fans. We appreciate you either way. But so give yourselves a round of applause for being a part of the show. Like I said, Cleveland, we got a lot to talk about this week, man. So we're going to jump right into our numbers game, Cleveland, with it being April 17th, 2024. Hope you all paid your taxes in week 288 of the Voice of the Fans podcast, Cleveland. When you think of the number 17, Cleveland, who's on your mind first? Or who wore the jersey number the best?
You know, Cam, who comes to mind first is the Major League Baseball player that's just been shrouded in, controversy, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, who wore it the best? I'm going to have to go with Hondo, John Havlicek.
Oh, my goodness. Really?
Yeah.
You're
really.
so hysterical. On two fronts. The guy, I thought we cleared this up. I thought it's been cleared up. Allow me to go on my rant, fans. Allow me to go on my rant. I thought we cleared this up. Number one, when the investigation has shown and proven that it was interpreter who was responsible for the betting and the having to deal with the illegal bookmaker down there in Southern California who was under FBI investigation. I thought we cleared that up, Cleveland. And then not only after that, if that wasn't enough for you, Cleveland, then he turned himself into authorities and admitted that it was not the $4.5 million that he embezzled that everybody thought. He embezzled 4 times that at $16 million. So Cleveland, let me ask you one final time, man. Get off my man's back, okay? He had nothing to do with it. I keep trying to tell you guys week in, week out, a lot goes in to being Major League's best ever baseball player. Did you hear what I said? The best ever baseball player. There's a lot that goes into it, Cleveland. Plus, my man was he was healing from his surgery. So he was from the baseball field, from the baseball diamond to the hospital to workouts. Okay. He didn't have in between those times. I'm sure he has a driver, but he didn't have time to do any offshore gambling and hook up with the bookie and all that. Cleveland, the man was rehabbing from an injury, okay, and training to be the best baseball player ever to put on stirrups. So would you get off my man's case? Can we put this story to bed now?
No, there's still more to be found and more to be researched, and we'll get to the bottom of this eventually. But yeah, I know you're trying to rush everything to judgment, sweep everything underneath the rug, but we're not there yet.
What's up, Boots? No, Boots. I'm trying to put the story to bed, but Cleveland want to keep bringing it up every week.
Because it's not put to bed yet. It's not put to bed yet. It's not in a tight little box and with a little ribbon and bow on top of it. It's not put together like that just yet.
So there you go. So when the guy admits to being guilty, Cleveland, what more do you want? Why are you digging? Cleveland.
And we talked about this. The powers that be obviously want as positive of an outcome as is humanly possible, which is great. I'm just saying right now, there's still some unanswered questions. I need to see some more forensic accounting going on. I need to see those phone records.
I want to see if you feel this way about a nobody. We're gonna a no-name player that we're gonna get to a little later in the show. I want to see if you have that same energy. We're gonna test that out. We're gonna test that out, fans. And look for this. look for this boost. See if you had that same energy for somebody else embroiled in controversy. We're gonna see how or if it's slanted towards because Shohei Ohtani happens to be the greatest baseball player ever. That is a good pull, no, number 17 right now, the greatest guy ever, the greatest Major League Baseball player ever, number 17 in a few short years. He's already accomplished that feat, surpassing a lot of players at Cleveland. And that's what just come to think about it, fans. That's Cleveland's problem with the whole thing is he's ascended to this height so quickly that Cleveland is upset. He has some animosity for the guy because he just surpassed his Alex Rodriguez. He surpassed his number 2 Derek Jeter. He surpassed his guy Barry Bonds. Because he's ascended so quickly, Cleveland is a little bitter. Is that where some of this animosity comes from, Cleveland? Would you admit to that?
No, he's actually not surpassed any of those players you aforementioned. He's actually never even played in a playoff game to this point in the major leagues.
Oh, here we go.
So,
did that prevent him from being the greatest baseball player ever?
Well, yeah, he's never even played in the playoff game, Cam. There's no need to get into a ring conversation. He's never even played in a playoff game. Not one.
This week,
not one time.
Rings matter. This week rings matter. This week,
last week rings didn't matter. Cam, we're not even going to get to the ring conversation. He's never even played in a playoff game.
Last week rings didn't matter, fans. Now all of a sudden rings matter again.
And Cam, it doesn't matter in this conversation either, because this gentleman that you're talking about is the greatest player ever, has never played in the playoff game. Not one.
How many MLB playoff games have Mike Trout played in, sir? For him to be widely recognized as one of the greatest baseball players ever. How many playoff?
No one ever says that. No one ever says that. They say that he's pretty good for his generation. He's a generational kind of player, and that's cool. But no one ever puts him in the all-time greats ever.
Let's move on. Let's talk about some all-time greats, Cleveland. When you think of the number 88, who wore that jersey best, or who comes to your mind first, Cleveland?
Comes to mind first, the playmaker, Michael Irvin, who wore it the best. Playmaker, Michael Irvin.
Better than Les Swan, Cleveland?
Afraid so.
Better than Marvin Harrison?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Cleveland, man. Let's get into this conversation. Let's see how you kind of sidestep this conversation. So the call heard around the world. I mean, I don't know if you heard the phone ringing last night as you're watching Zion put the smackdown on Lakers. But did you hear the phone call ring from the sidelines? And then Willie Green picked up the phone on the sidelines. And it apparently was Adam Silver that said, sit Zion down. In fact, just send him to the locker room. He's done for the season. Did you see that? And with 3.5 minutes to go, and then just somehow the Lakers come back with some, blown calls and Anthony Davis, fouling on one end on the court, trying to block some shots, and then the Pelicans getting called for every foul on the other side of the court. And the Lakers end up winning the game last night. Did you hear the phone call, first of all? Did you see Willie Green actually on the phone on the sidelines? Did you see that? I've never seen it before. I've never seen that before. Did you see that, Cleveland?
No, Cam. What I saw from a fan's perspective was Zion.
What fan are you? What kind of fan are you? Because you're not a fan of Zion.
I'm an NBA basketball fan. What I saw was Zion pointing to the bench, saying like, ow, I think I hurt myself. And then trying to run down the court again. It was like, I can't go no more. Man, I'm mad about it. I'm upset about it, but there's nothing I can do about it. So he pulled himself out the game. They took him back to the locker room. He never came back. And as fate would have it, he's actually not going to be available for the next game as well. So You know, he was rolling. You know, 20 points in the first half, 20 points in the second half. Man, I mean, he made it a kind of a close game there for a minute.
You guys were nervous. You guys were nervous that Point Zion was going to work last night, and there was nothing you guys could do about it. So you put in a call to Adam Silver to say, "Stop this guy." The only way you can stop him
he stopped. He stopped himself, Cam. He stopped himself, man. All that twerking, all that torque, it was just too much for his body to absorb, and he wasn't able to finish the game. That's unfortunate.
Was it twerking or torque? Which one was it, Cleveland?
It's a little bit of both. You know how I be twerking with them other Instagram gals and the torque that he puts on his body during the games.
You see, I knew you couldn't have honest discussion about Point Zion because you knew he was wrecking shop last night. You know he was wrecking.
That looked like the best version of himself we've ever seen, right? And it was beautiful and masterful, to watch, but yeah, it just couldn't hold up, unfortunately, through an entire playing game. So unfortunately, those guys lost, and they have a chance at redemption against the Sacramento Kings. Let's hope they can get into the playoffs.
And your Lakers extend their win streak in the play-in tournament. Now they become they already had the most wins in NBA play-in history. Now they just extend that streak, huh? You happy about that?
I'm happy that they won. Unfortunately, I was of a different kind of mindset. Maybe they should, drop this game to avoid having to play Denver in the first round. But I have been set straight on that. Apparently I was of the wrong mindset with that, and you don't dodge the competition, and you don't try and lose games on purpose, just to try and get a better seeding in the playoffs. I mean, I was perhaps for selfish reasons. I was hoping they would lose this game and then have the home game for the 8 seed, and then get Oklahoma City.
You've been bad mouthing all
but they were prideful. And King James was like, "No, we're just gonna take care of business here, and move on."
Is that what he did, or did Snitchy Russell carry the guys to a victory by hitting
the King, Anthony Davis, Gabe Vincent gave us quite a contribution. Wasn't expecting that. And those guys, Rui Hachimura, so it was a lot of other players that kind of contributed along with.
Don't forget about Snitchy now.
A lot of other players that contributed along with LeBron to get them to that first round matchup against the Denver Nuggets. So we'll see how it goes from there.
You don't even want to mention Snitchy? Is that what I'm hearing? You don't even
Austin Reeves, grandson of Jarrell as well was quite a player. Jackson Hayes with his contributions off the bench. It was it was a team effort, but they got it all together.
Extended that lead in playing victory. So I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of you guys for beating up on the Zion list, and Brandon Ingram might as well not even showed up. Brandon Ingram might as well not even show up. So I've been telling you about how CJ has been less than impressive most of the season, and you've been coming up with excuses about something that happened 9 months ago. And I bet you don't even want to discuss CJ's no show yesterday, right?
Well, he did have a collapsed lung. I wasn't making that up. That actually did happen, and it takes a little bit of time to get back to
it takes 7 months. So
sometimes
he'll be ready next month, is what you're saying.
Well, I'm not sure exactly how this is all going to play out. They still have one more game to win to even be in the playoffs, right. And if not, they'll be home for the summer.
So he can he can just focus on getting healthy. That's kind of your point, right?
Not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's up to them to determine their own fate. It's not up to me to say what's going to happen or not going to happen. That's the beauty of the NBA playoffs, and specifically in the Western Conference of the NBA playoffs. It's not up to me. I can only give an opinion, but it's up to you to really actually do it, one way or the other.
So the Kings, did you call it revenge? Last year they got knocked out by the bigger brother in the Warriors. They got knocked out of the playoffs, and you was laughing at it. You didn't even want to acknowledge them last season when they were competing for the number 2 record in the Western Conference. Didn't even want to acknowledge them. So this season, they did. You thought you were happy, or no, happy is not the proper word. This season, you thought they kind of fell back to their regular space and might not even make the play-in tournament. And so they came in the play-in tournament, knocked their bigger brother out of the playoffs. Like, do you give them any credit for knocking their bigger brother out of the playoffs, or are you going to say that was
Man, they certainly did throw a haymaker. They had the home court advantage. Golden State did not step up and take care of business. And man, hats off to the Kings for getting to that the second round of the play-in tournament. Good for them.
Oh, listen to you. What shot do you give the Kings at beating the Pelicans? Like with the Zionless Pelicans, Brandon Ingram, looking like, I don't know what's going on with Brandon Ingram, looking like a shell of himself. It seemed like 2 seasons he hasn't been the player that he was even with the Lakers. I mean, we expected some growth out of him by now, and we're still seeing the same second and third year Brandon Ingram. CJ, as I mentioned, has kind of been a no-show. They do have some good pieces. Boy, I tell you, Trey Murphy, is there any bigger gunner in the NBA than Trey Murphy? Can you name a gunner somebody who just grabbed the ball and just chuck it up from anywhere in the court than Trey Murphy? Have you seen anybody like that?
Yeah, no, he thinks he's always open and he's always the best option. You're kind of running the offense and running a play is certainly not something that he's accustomed to doing too often. When the ball is in his hands, he just wants it to go up, rainbow arc, and it's either in there or it's not. But yeah, no, I'm not saying that the Sacramento Kings are just gonna, cakewalk the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans have some fight in them. Certainly, considering that they've lost I don't know how many games in a row. I mean, obviously 2 of them back to back to the Los Angeles Lakers. But there's no shame. There's no shame in losing back-to-back games to the King and the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, that happens. But now you have an opportunity to right the ship against the Sacramento Kings. I'm not saying they're not going to do it.
So you're actually picking the Pelicans?
I didn't pick the Pelicans. Your question was, are the Kings just going to, mollywop them? And the answer is no. I don't think so. I mean, come on now. Losing 3 straight games at home with the playoffs on the line, that sounds
like you're picking the Kings to me. That sounds like you're picking the Kings over the Pelicans over the Kings. That's what it sounds like.
Cam, what I'm saying, I wouldn't be surprised. Cam, what I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised is if the Pelicans, having their 3rd straight game at home, don't turn around and make the playoffs. Wouldn't be surprised.
You have 0 respect for the Sacramento Kings. 0. You're like Phil Jackson. 0 respect for the Cowbell Kings, huh? Is that what I'm hearing? Well, I tell you, Sabonis, I don't know if you might not know the guys on the court. Although they're missing Malik Monk, the 6th player, one of the guy playing for the 6th Man of the Year award.
I know who Malik Monk is.
Do you know who Domantas Sabonis is?
Sure do.
The guy who, I know your guy, AD, Anthony Davis knows who Sabonis is. I know that for sure. But do you know who Sabonis is? Do you know who De'Aaron Fox is?
I do.
And you're expecting those guys to get beat up by who's the point guard? Who's the point guard for the Pelicans? Not Herb Jones. I can't even think of the guy who likes to stand on the sidelines and come and get the steal from the back, get the steal from behind. The little guy.
Oh, Alvarado.
You think Alvarado is going to lead the Pelicans to a victory over the Kings.
You know, I'm not 100% sure on that, Cam. What I am saying is, it's hard to think a team is going to lose 3 straight games at home with the playoffs on the line.
I mean, at least you're consistently hating on the Kings. This is 2 years straight that you just give the Kings absolutely zero respect. And I think I think De'Aaron Smith, De'Aaron Fox is going to have something to say. He might actually join the show next week for this hate you're spewing over the Sacramento Kings. My goodness, you sound like Phil Jackson. The Philadelphia Sixers just moments ago forced the Miami Heat to play another game and beat them in the play-in tournament. So the Philadelphia 76ers now become the 7th seed, in the Eastern Conference. And with the Bulls and the Hawks playing, Bulls and the Hawks. That's a terrible play-in tournament right there. Do you give the Bulls or the Hawks any chance against the Miami Heat?
I give the Hawks more of a chance than the Bulls, but neither one of them too much of a chance now.
So I don't know, Cleveland. We hadn't spoken. I asked you this question last week. After Jalen Brunson went ahead and scored 39 and 3/4. I asked you this question last week, and I'm gonna ask you this question again, since the Knicks finished number 2 in the Eastern Conference. Do you believe in Jalen Brunson?
No, Cam, and very similar to how the Los Angeles Lakers, they just were trying to just, do a little bit too much. Pride kind of got in the way. Same thing happened in the New York Knicks. I mean, they could have been in the number 3 spot, and then they would have the Indianapolis Pacers coming out, Indiana Pacers coming out first round. But now they got to deal with Joel and Maxey and Batum, and that's going to be too much for them.
What you know about Batum? You don't even know about Batum. What do you know about? How you gonna
I know he went 6 for 10 from the 3-point line tonight. Had a 5 or 6 steals and played a great all around game. Very similar to how he had played in Portland for all those years.
Oh, Portland. Who else did he play for, Cleveland?
Portland and Charlotte. Oh, I'm sorry. And I think he played for the Los Angeles Clippers there for a minute. I'm sorry, I blocked that part out of my mind.
Oh, is that what you did?
A long time ago.
It wasn't that long ago. He just got traded this season, the beginning of this season. It wasn't that long ago, Cleveland. Now cut it out. I mean, the 76ers is going to be that's going to be a decent series, though. If Joel got a few more days to get rested, to get that knee in shape, the 76ers in the New York Knicks, that's going to be a pretty good series, don't you think?
I got Sixers in 6.
You got the Sixers in 6 over the New York Knicks?
I do.
You want to put something on that?
I mean, we'll have to wait till Sunday to see, who's really healthy and who's not.
What are we waiting for? You just said you were so confident.
I am waiting for the injury report. If everything looks solid, then I fully believe that the Sixers will win that series.
Well, put something on it. Put something on it right now. Put something on the New York Knicks beating the Philadelphia 76ers right now.
I'm not going to put something on it right now, Cam. I have to see what the health of Joel Embiid looks like. If he's not healthy, then that's a totally different situation.
You guys hear this waffling, fans? You hear this waffling? As soon as I say put something on it, he ain't so confident no more. He is not so confident anymore. Giannis, as we know, is going to miss one game. Giannis is going to miss one.
They said possibly several games, so I wouldn't just say it's just the one game. They're not 100% sure when he's coming back.
That's even worse if they say 7 games. Ooh, I just said 1 game. I just heard 1 game. The Celtics signed Drew Holiday, 4-year, 135. Ooh, 4-year, 135. Cleveland for somebody who is averaging this season 12.5 rebounds and 5 assists. He makes Cleveland 4 years, 135. Woo! Is that bananas or what for the Boston Celtics?
I mean, that is the economy of basketball. It sounds very much like a Mike Conley Jr. type of contract. Just hey, man, do what you do, and we realize the value in that, and we'll overpay for it.
Now, Grayson Allen, I told you, Grayson, you didn't want to believe me. I told you Grayson Allen been balling all season long. I told you before the season started that was a good pickup for the Phoenix Suns, because not only do they need bodies, they need somebody who can a little agitator, a little edgy guy, and then somebody who can knock buckets down, knock shots down. That's exactly what Grayson Allen has been for the Phoenix Suns. 4 years, $70 million. Now that sounds about right. A little less than 20 million. That sounds about right for Grayson Allen. What you think about that deal?
Hey man, congratulations to him. He's stuck around in the league. He's proven he can be a professional and follow orders and hit down some shots every once in a while, and hopefully not be too much of a distraction. Hopefully he doesn't stick his leg out and trip someone that falls down on their face and starts a riot.
Again, man, the guy, Cleveland. Do you want to be known for evading parking tickets and not paying for parking tickets all your life? You did that in college, right? You did that.
Did.
You didn't pay all your college parking tickets in college, did you? Down there in Montlake?
No, as a matter of fact, that got very tenuous and legal. I thought you were just pulling that out of your ass, but if you actually know that, that wasn't a pleasant situation.
Oh yeah, they weren't passing out diplomas if you still had fines to pay. You had to pay those fines.
No, it got ugly. It got legal. Like I said, lawyers had to get involved with all that. Yeah. So yeah.
Why do you keep pinning Grayson Allen's college?
Well, that's different than tripping a man in a competitive event over and over again, and then coming to the league and then lightweight doing it again. You're lucky that you haven't gotten beat up yet.
Oh my goodness!
But hey, you're knocking down 3-point shots at about 45%. Everybody likes you there in the Scottsdale area, man. Congratulations. Welcome to the Phoenix Suns for the next 4 years.
You're a guy. We talked about it. Now I want to know if you had the same energy for this guy as you have for this actual somebody who's actually been exonerated. Jonte Porter got the hammer thrown at him by Adam Silver, banned from the NBA for his gambling situation, sharing information with potential gamblers. Cleveland banned from the NBA, banishment. Now, if he wants to go play basketball, he might have to do it overseas if he can even get a tryout or looked in. That a fair punishment, Cleveland?
Absolutely, 177%. Everything he did disrupts the integrity of the game, and can't understand why he did it. How he did it was incredibly reckless and stupid. Why he thought no one was going to find out is beyond me. But throw the book at that dude as hard as you can, like a Shohei Ohtani fastball. Throw the book at that dude.
For a grand total of like $155,000, he probably earned. Because the biggest bet he placed, he lost a bet on whether they would win or lose, and they lost the game. And he lost a bet.
Betting on his own team, and some of the parlays were as low as like $15. It was in his own name. This is horrible. Like, if you just sit around on the bench and you're 7 foot, you'd be surprised. You might get 6 or 7 years out of the league just sitting around, just being on the right team, being 7 foot at the right time. It's horrible to think that he was willing to throw all that away on some nonsense.
Does he play overseas? Do you think he gets to look overseas?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He's still 7 feet tall. That hasn't changed.
Cleveland, Blake Griffin announces his retirement this year. We had another famous dunker be inducted to the Hall of Fame last week. How will you remember Blake Griffin, Cleveland?
Oh, as part of Lob City, part of that Los Angeles Clippers trio, himself, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Jordan, that had just so much talent, so much potential and opportunity, to kind of seize the time, seize the moment, and just never were quite able to get over the hump.
Is Blake Griffin a Hall of Famer, Cleveland?
And I believe JJ Redick was on that team as well. Some other really, great players. I think some of the Morris brothers were on that team. You probably know that team a little bit better, more, than I do, because you cover that team quite a lot. What are your favorite memories of Blake Griffin as a Los Angeles Clipper?
I mean, Blake has some good memories. Blake was obviously an awesome dunker. Blake.
Yeah, I hear you keep saying awesome dunker over and over again. I don't ever hear anything like impactful or like the reason they won or lost or, didn't quite fulfill his potential as the #1 pick in the draft. I don't hear you saying any of those things.
Well, no, because Blake was, I don't say underperforming isn't. Blake didn't develop the one season he was a go-to guy. He finished. He didn't finish the season because he got hurt. Other than that, Blake never became. He didn't never fully develop. I don't think, and not as a Clipper anyway. And that was disappointing. That was disappointing for Blake because he had potential. He just never fully developed, if you will.
Gotcha. So kind of Zion before Zion is what it sounds like you're kind of alluding to.
There was some Zion-ish before Zion.
Okay.
Yes.
Super athletic, couldn't really stay healthy, and when you needed to depend on him, he wasn't there. It's kind of the narrative that I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, that sums it up about right.
Okay.
Although he had a lot more highlights than Zion has had to this point in his career. But yeah, he just never really fully developed. And I'll say that we're still waiting on Zion, and hopefully Zion's career doesn't end like Blake Griffin's career does.
If Zion has a Blake Griffin career, he should feel blessed.
That's cold. That's cold. No, that would be a disappointment for Zion Williamson. Wouldn't you say?
Blake Griffin is what a seven-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA second teamer. I mean, wow. What more were you looking for?
Out of Blake Griffin?
Yeah.
Oh, we were looking for Blake Griffin to be the go-to guy.
Okay, well, like I said, so the comparison is spot on. You got 2 #1 picks that you would like to be your franchise player and your go-to guy, but they're never really actually healthy enough to do that, and their skill set is somewhat limited that they will never actually be that.
Zion has more skills than Blake Griffin. Blake can't dribble Blake could never dribble like Zion could dribble.
Okay, well, I mean,
he would never appoint
you. You call me when he gets to 6 NBA All-Star appearances.
Oh wow!
Or 2 All-NBA second team appearances.
Oh wow! So you don't even have Zion. You don't even have Zion being a 5-time All-Star in the league.
No, this is the best season you're ever going to get from Zion. I'm pretty sure.
Ooh. fans, do you hear this? I mean, this is a character assassination right now.
No,
I
it's
know
not.
you
It's
I know
just
you never.
the
I
ceiling for
know you
who
never liked the
it's
guy.
just the ceiling for who Zion is. He is a freak of nature out there that what they said 70 games is the most games he's ever played, which is this year. He got really, slim and trim. So you see what the potential is. And then in a playoff game with 3 minutes left, you hurt his hamstring.
Wow, wow, what character assassination! My goodness.
How was that a character assassination? That's just an observation of what Zion's been able to do and not been able to do.
You said Zion should be better than Blake. Blake, there was never being a point forward was never in Blake Griffin's repertoire ever.
Okay, but where are we to Zion's fifth season? Has he ever made the All-Star team? This is 5 seasons in. I mean, how many more seasons do you think Zion has in him?
Oh, wow. See what I'm talking about? You have he next season he'll be out the league now.
No, I think six seasons is probably the over under. I'm taking the under.
Well, okay, if we're at 5, then you have him at 1 more year. And
no, I think he has like 5 or 6 more years. And he would have to make the All-Star team every single year.
That would be 10 years, a 10-year career.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a 10-year career if he played 5 more years. And
Blake had a 13-year career, I believe.
Well, I mean, come on, he was Boston Celtics,
and those last 3 with the Celtics and the Pistons, and
I mean,
and the Brooklyn Nets, and
he balled for the Pistons, but they weren't any good. I mean, he was kind of angry, and
okay. Well, hey, man, look, I'm not trying to get into what could have been with Blake Griffin. I'm just trying to say the Zion Williamson experiment. This is as best as we're going to see from it,
and that's a character assassination. If he doesn't get,
how was that a character assassination? Because this is the best we're going to.
Because you're saying this is the best we're going to see at Blake or Zion at year 5.
He played 70 games. He looked in great shape. The Pelicans were on the precipice of making the playoffs, and he was balling for 40 and 10 before he hurt himself.
That was Adam Silver making
the call. Adam Silver made him hurt himself?
No.
What motivation does Adam Silver have for Zion Williamson not to be on the court?
Oh, so the Lakers can continue to go and Lakers can add to their playing victory.
They were gonna do that anyways.
No,
they were just gonna win the next game and be in the playoffs and be playing against the OKC Thunder. I mean, that's not Adam Silver making a call like, "Hey, man, go pretend like you're hurt." I mean, what kind of nonsense is that?
Okay, so let's get right to it. The Thunder are gonna play the Kings or the Pelicans. Who do you already said you got the Kings knocking out the Pelicans. Do the Kings threaten the Thunder in any way? Is that
yeah. I mean, it's certainly a threat for sure.
Is that a sweep or that's 4-1? What do you think?
No, Sacktown has a much better ability to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder than you think.
So Sacramento squeaking by and beating the Wizards, or excuse me, beating the Warriors. Now you have them beating the Thunder, Cleveland.
Well, hey, slow down, Cameron. You're getting all in front of your skis, man. There's still a game left to be played. It's the Sacramento Kings versus the New Orleans Pelicans. One game at a time.
You already said they're going to beat the Pelicans. You don't have Herb Williams and Trey Murphy, and CJ
Herb Jones. Herb Jones.
Herb. What I say?
You said Williams. Come on, man. Get these players right, man. Get right in the.
You don't have Herb Jones, CJ McCollum,
Trey Murphy III, Larry Nance, Valanciunas. A little sprinkle of Brandon Ingram. We don't know what's going to happen. I already said, and apparently you weren't listening.
You're
It's
totally
hard to
disrespecting
lose
the
3 straight
Sacramento
games at
Kings right
home.
now. You're totally disrespecting the Sacramento Kings, and I'm not buying it. I'm not allowing that talk right now. Will your Lakers win a game against the Nuggets?
Yes.
How many games will they win?
Not sure, but they win at least one.
2?
Not sure. I'm not sure, but they'll win at least one.
Can they win the 2 in LA?
I'm not sure.
3 and 4.
I'm not sure.
I got some chow saying they will not win 3 and 4 in LA. What you want to do with it? You want to do something with that?
No, they're playing the defending NBA champions. Why would I do that? Now, if you're saying that they're going to get swept, well, I got an elbow on that. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say that. I'm saying
okay. We'll back up there.
Back
up, homie. Yeah.
Oh,
you asked me whether they're going to win a game. I said, yeah. It sounds like you agree that they'll win at least a game.
Maybe, potentially, if Adam Silver's in the stands in LA, they might win that game. Adam Silver has some favoritism. He'll play that favoritism to LeBron and Jeannie. He'll show them some love, and they get one game because they got swept last time they played. Last time this match, have they beat them all season long? By the way,
I haven't been keeping up on the record against the Nuggets all season long. I just know where we're at right now, Cam.
Well, they haven't.
I'm in the here and now.
They have not. It's been sweep all over.
Okay, well, that wasn't in the playoffs, and
Oh, last year was in the playoffs, and they swept them.
Well, that was last year.
Timberwolves and the Suns. Who you like in this one?
Like the Suns.
You like the Suns over disrespect? Why says disrespect for your guy Ant Edwards and the defensive player of the year?
I love Ant-Man. You know how I feel about Ant-Man. I've been talking about him for years.
But you got Booker, Bradley Beal. You're betting on Booker, Bradley Beal, and Grayson Allen to get past the Timberwolves.
Excuse me. Oh, and that other guy, the 6'11" guy that can't be stopped. What's his name again?
Oh, now you like that guy.
I've always liked that guy. I've always liked that guy.
Kevin Durant.
The Slim Reaper? Yeah, cut it out.
Dallas Mavericks and Los Angeles Clippers. Who you got?
I like the Dallas Mavericks in that series.
You said that a little too quickly there. Kawhi, Paul.
Yeah.
Kawhi,
I didn't
George, James Harden. Yeah. Like a couple weeks ago, you were talking about these guys should go all the way.
They should. They certainly have the talent to do so. And then the musical chairs settle down, and now it's right in front of lean back Luka and Kyrie.
That's 2 guys against 4 Hall of Famers.
It certainly is, Cam. It certainly is. How you feel about it?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
The Knicks are going to face the 76ers. You say the 76ers are going to beat them guys.
Correct,
Did you say a sweep?
Nope, I didn't say that at all.
Oh, I thought I heard you sweep.
Nope, see, you're hearing things again.
I thought because I wanted to get something on it right there.
I know you did. I know you want to jump all over that, but it would just be, again, like I say, we have to see what Joel Embiid's health looks like, and then I will make a proper assessment. But right now, if he's healthy, it'll be the Sixers winning that series.
But you don't want to put nothing on it. You're a little nervous.
Not until I hear the health assessment of Joel Embiid. Yeah, no.
You're a little nervous.
Yeah, I'm a professional gambler, Cam. So yeah, I need all the information at my disposal before I make an executive decision like that.
How much more time do you need to decide on the Bucks and the Pacers?
I think the Bucks will still get them, but they're a little short-handed, so I can't obviously wager on that full-heartedly until I see a game or two without Giannis.
The other series we have is number 4 and number 4 Cavaliers versus number 5 Magic. How you feel about that series?
I'm feeling Paulo not being scared of them dudes. He
No.
might be able to pull some things off over there. Might be an upset.
Oh, so I'll tell you right now what my upsets are, and I don't have to wait until I get tipped off by Jonte Porter. I don't have to be tipped off by him to make these bets right now. And let me know if you object to any of these, and we can get something on the table, get something on the record tonight instead of you being scared.
Sure.
I got the Mavericks over the Clippers. Kind of hurts me to say that, but
Oh wow. Wow. No, I'm not gonna no. Well, I already told you how I feel about it just because you turned on your team, man. Just because you turned on Bomber. Did you call Bomber and tell him how you felt?
It's not turning on my team.
It sounds like when Colin Powell had to call George Bush and be like, "Hey, man, I'm not endorsing you, man. I'm going with Barack, man. I'm sorry." It sounds almost that bad.
I'm an objective journalist, and
did you call Ty Lue at least and tell him?
Nah, I didn't talk to Ty. I'll wait to see him in Dallas. I'll wait to see him in Dallas. I'll wait to see him in Dallas, and we
so you just gonna show up at the press conference with the 77 on, just blindside him. Wow, that's cold. That's as cold-blooded as it gets.
I mean,
you've been in the trenches with him, man. You done shared the same Aquafina water bottle a couple of times, man. That's wow. You ain't even gonna give him a heads up.
Look, I'm an objective journalist, and I'm calling things.
No, I got that part, but I mean the fact you ain't even gonna give him a heads up.
I mean,
that's just cold. That's just cold.
I mean, I may talk to him. I may talk to him Friday night to actually see the health of the team and see how they're looking right now.
Oh, but you ain't gonna tell him now. Okay,
I gotta give him a chance to change my mind. You know what I'm saying? But as it was the way things stand right now, their first game is Sunday at 12:30. That's an L. They have home court advantage, but they're going to start the series off 0-1 because they don't win those 12:30 games at Staples Center. And I already know
it's not Staples Centers. It's the Crib House before they go to their own place. Is it almost done yet? Because the landlord is kind of waiting for them to move their stuff out.
Is he ready? He got the broom. He's standing at the door with the broom.
I mean,
he got the house coming on the way.
Glad you finally got your other place together. So yeah, man, we don't have to share no more.
I mean the Kings are the one. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the LA Kings actually own that stadium. So I'm not sure what landlord you're talking about, but I mean that's going to be lost revenue for the crypto stadium. So that's going to be lost revenue. I don't know if you heard, but the Intuit Dome is opening up with Bruno Mars back-to-back nights. So
how nice!
So that's going to open up nicely in August. That's going to open up in August. To a warm welcome. Fans going to get to try it out, sit in the seats and everything because Bruno Mars is going to be tear the house down. You know how that goes.
Well, man, Bruno puts on a great show. No doubt about that.
Yeah, and then the Clippers will be introduced late or early October, I should say.
Yeah, so they've already been upstaged by another act, so it's not really even about them.
Well, it's their home, it's their building, but
but they're already going to be upstaged already before they ever even
No, they're allowed to make money. They're allowed to make money.
Oh, for sure, but it's already going to be like a multi. It already sounds like a multi-purpose stadium. It's not like the Clippers place, but that's okay.
Well, I assure you, it's going to be it is a Clippers place.
Well, hey man, win a championship, and that all things will change. So.
I got Pacers beating the Bucks. I got the Pacers beating the Bucks, and kind of with or without Giannis. You remember they didn't want to the controversy over the basketball, the game ball. Giannis tried to go get the game ball from the Pacers. You remember that whole controversy?
Yeah, I mean, if Giannis plays, they're definitely going to beat the Pacers. If he doesn't, well, that's kind of a question mark. But I still think, ooh, yeah, Lakers Nation, I feel you. Come on with it, Lakers in 6.
Yeah, pump him up, Lakers Nation. Pump him up because I can't get him to bet on nothing right now. He don't want to put nothing down on it.
But back to my point, if Dame is worth what we think he is, then he should be able to pull out a series against the Indiana Pacers. I think
the Pacers are feisty. There's already built.
Yeah, they're feisty. Miles Turner and Halliburton, and
yeah.
Some other players over there. Yeah.
They're looking for. They got a point to prove, and who better to prove it against the Bucks?
And Siakam over there too. Yeah.
Who better to prove it? There you go. There you go with some logic. There you go.
If Dame's day to day, well, that's a different situation. I thought he was fully 100% healthy. If not, oh well, yeah. Those younger upstart, but they don't have home court advantage, so still would have to lean towards the Bucks. Just saying.
I mean, but that's one game, and you're like you like to point out that Doc is 16 and 18 as head coach of the Bucks.
I think he's 16 and 42 as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks this year.
16 and 42. They didn't even, yeah, so I got Pacers. These are my favorites. I got Mavericks beating the Clippers. I got Pacers beating the Bucks, and I got the Orlando Magic over the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Cleveland, we talked about in football. Well, my man DeAndre Swift keeps trading teams, right? How he's played on Detroit doesn't like him. Detroit didn't want him. The Eagles didn't want him, and now he's on to a new team this season. I'm starting to feel the same way about Donovan Spider-Man. He got ran out of Utah. Looks like he's getting run out of the Cavaliers, trying to make his way to either New York or Miami. Like, I don't know Donovan Mitchell. I got the Magic putting it on the guys and then send him in. He'll be wearing a new jersey next season. Do you see the same thing with Donovan Mitchell? And how do you feel about that pickup?
Well, I mean, it's clear he's not your number one. So any team that wants him to be your number one is fooling themselves. Cleveland has found that out the hard way. So yeah, they're willing to move on from him unless he does something really heroic here in the playoffs. And like we both think, we think it's a first round out, which means this will be 2 consecutive years. It was a first round out. So yeah, that experiment should be over with. I don't know if he's a good fit in New York. I don't know if he really has a temperament for Miami. They're kind of hardcore. Perhaps some other location. Not quite sure where, but
oh wow, you have him searching, huh? Maybe Detroit. Maybe Detroit next. Detroit? The Bullets. He may end up with the Bullets or what? Do you think he can turn one of those teams around?
I think he can get those guys to, well, I don't want to say respectability necessarily, but knocking on the door of the playoffs, yeah, you might be able to do that.
So Cleveland, I just gave you my upsets in the playoffs, the first round of the playoffs, and so far I only have you committing to the Mavericks over the Cavaliers. That's the only series you can commit to picking right now.
I have the Mavericks over the Los Angeles Clippers, and I have the Orlando Magic beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I guess it would be an upset. I feel pretty confident if Joel Embiid is healthy that the Philadelphia 76ers will beat the New York Knicks.
Oh, but you got to wait and see on that.
Yes, I do have to wait and see if the reigning MVP will be healthy enough to play.
Come on, see, this is a problem with you Laker fans, man. This is a problem with you Laker fans right here. You guys think everybody wants to come play in LA.
Well, they do, Cam. That's not a secret. Everyone knows that. But let's be clear, not just to play in LA, to play for the Los Angeles Lakers. Not just to play in LA. It's the only people that are from LA, just like whatever team I play for in LA is fine with me. People that are not from LA, they actually want to play for the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's be clear.
No, really, they just want to go to LA. They just want to live in Los Angeles.
No. That's true. Like you know, on a wish list type of thing. But when you're talking about their professional career, they actually want to play for the Los Angeles Lakers.
You just want to live there.
They don't want to play for either or. They actually want to play for the Los Angeles Lakers. They'll play for the Clippers if there's no other options, but they really want to play for the Lakers. Yeah, that's not a secret.
Laker Nation, no. To answer your question, Laker Nation, no possibility. Embiid request a trade and go and teams up with AD. Anyway, how would that work? How would that work? You're gonna have two big men, right, that like to shoot jumpers, right, and like to play around, that don't want to bang inside. That's not gonna work. That's not going to work because they're both going to be clashing against each other. That's not going to work. No. But that's typical Laker fan. I mean, do you want Giannis to come there too? You want Giannis to get disgruntled?
Well, Giannis was on his way. Was on his way. I don't know if you remember. I mean, when they went and got Dame Dollar, he's like, all right, all right. That sounds cool.
But you said Dame was on his way there too. You try to get Chris Haynes to to admit that Dame was headed to LA as well.
He was.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, Laker fans? It could happen. see, Laker fans, y'all is hysterical, man. Y'all is hysterical. So I got Cleveland right now to commit to 2 games, and the other ones he has to read the press clippings, and he's waiting for his
the injury report, not the press clippings. I don't need the press to tell me what's going to happen. I just need to know if they're going to be healthy or not.
Well, you need Jonte Porter to give you some inside tips, right? Isn't that what you're waiting on? Jonte Porter to give you some tips?
Cold-blooded, man. It's cold-blooded, man, and that's a professional gambler. Yeah, I don't really, it would have been cool to have those type of tips that he was going to what the line was and that he was going to make up some excuse to be out of the game. Yeah, I would have jumped on that. You see, they didn't pay those out, right?
Right. Yeah, they did. Yeah, that was $1 million, $1.2 million or something like that. They said,
yeah, they were like, "Oh, for real? That's weird. That happened exactly how you bet." All of you. That's weird. How about now?
Yeah. So that's our NBA. That's what we got going down in NBA this week. I gave you my predictions, fans. I gave you my upsets. So just to recap, I think the Thunder are going to beat the Pelicans or the Kings, either one they play. Cleveland is so down on the Pelicans. Just to start to the third quarter of the Hawks versus Bulls game, the Bulls are up 73-67. Trying to play
for real back and forth. We're not sure what's going to happen there. It's back and forth, seesaw.
Their chance to play the Heat. But I got the Thunder beating the Pelicans and or the Kings, and Cleveland is non-committal to either one of those games. I got the Nuggets. I got the Nuggets over the Lakers.
Well, that's not an upset, but okay.
Gentlemen sweep. No, I'm just telling you, I'm predicting the series.
Oh wait, so you are going with the sweep?
Gentlemen sweep.
What's that mean?
The Lakers might win one game, maybe.
A gentleman's. I've never heard of that. What is a gentleman's sweep?
Well, they give the Lakers a game. The Lakers win a game, but that's it. It's going to be 5-1.
Okay, so Lakers will win it.
The Timberwolves and the Suns. That's actually going to be a good series. The Suns have the flipping the switch typically doesn't work. However, the last 2 weeks of the season, the Suns have flipped the switch and been playing. Bills actually played well in the 2 week span. Booker, he had that one game. I mean, where who they get? They got beat by somebody bad. Bill went 1 for 11. I don't. It's slipping my mind. You got the Suns in that one, huh? You got the Suns. The Timberwolves. You guys is disrespecting the Timberwolves, I believe. The Timberwolves do have Ant-Man. They do have the one thing, fans. I'll say this: the one thing that could hold the Timberwolves back is that Karl Anthony Towns is back on the court. That can actually hold these guys back.
Wow, that's going to hold them back. Wow.
He's not a winner. He's not a winner. He doesn't make winning plays. They were doing fine just without him. That's the one thing that can hold these guys back because he's going to start jacking up shots. He's going to start acting like he's the difference. He's crying to the refs, jacking up shots, thinking that once the game is flowing well in the Mavericks the Timberwolves have it in hand, the Suns are going to come back on Karl Anthony Towns missed 3-pointers. I guarantee that one. But like I said, the Suns have seemingly flipped the switch. I just can't count on Booker. I can't count on Bill. I like KD a lot. Grayson Allen's being a good addition to the squad, but I don't think they have enough to beat the Timberwolves. That's my prediction. That's my I mean, you talking about the Suns got championship. They got a one champion, yeah, and more star power, yeah. But a team will beat that star power. The Suns ain't a cohesive unit to this point. They're not a cohesive unit, and the one thing, the drawback is Karl Anthony Towns coming back could hold the T-Wolves back. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you, fans. Come back on the show. Tune into our show on Sunday. Tune into our show in the afternoon or Wednesday evenings, and you're gonna have to agree with me. Come back and agree with me. 7 games. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if it goes 7, but I got the T-Wolves, Clippers, and the Mavericks. That's probably going to be a 6-game series. The Clippers going to lose their home court advantage on Sunday afternoon. Sadly to say, the Celtics play the Bulls. If they play the Atlanta Hawks, that's going to go 6 games. They play the Bulls, the Heat. They owe the Heat. I mean, they owe the Heat. So if they let the Heat, that's who they should want to play, and they should want to sweep the Heat if they get a chance at it. But they like to play with the food, and they'll let the Hawks push them to 6. That's why I don't trust the Celtics. The Knicks and the Sixers, I got the Knicks winning that game.
Okay,
winning that series. The Knicks are going to win. I like Joel. As I mentioned, you know what I told you about Joel coming back fully healthy. He wasn't going to be able to do that. He wasn't going to be able to perform. But even though Batum, who was the guy? Shoot, I'm having a brain fart. The other guy. They got Maxey doing their job. Who was the guy? Who else was a contributor tonight? Gee whiz.
Tobias Harris was a contributor. Oubre was a contributor.
That's what I was thinking about. Kelly Oubre. I mean, they got some pieces, but the Knicks are on a roll right now.
The Knicks just got Jalen Brunson rolling, and that whole Villanova pack of Wildcats.
DiVincenzo is taking.
So you don't even know his name. You don't even know his name, man. I love this. I love it. I love this, Cam. I love when you do another player thing. You try to act all serious like about him.
Put something on the series. Put something on it right now.
I sure will.
Put some on it right now. Put some on it.
I sure will as soon as I see the injury report and it says that Joel Embiid is clear to play.
Dante DiVincenzo. I'm gonna tell Porter not to even hit you up because you're waiting on that Porter inside scoop. He's not giving it to you. I'm gonna hit him up. But
I don't need him. I seen the injury report is all.
I got the Knicks. Dante DiVincenzo. He's pulling threes and hitting threes. You got Josh Hart doing his thing, being a disruptor. Not a big scorer, not a big scoring guy.
Isaiah Hartenstein.
Isaiah Hart. Yeah, Clippers are missing him. I tell you that. Isaiah Hart.
OG Adenabi. Yeah, man.
Since they got Anunoby, they're like 16-2, bro.
I know, man. They're amazing. They're amazing ever since.
I got the Pacers over the Bucks. It just is situated. I'm even more confident now that Giannis might be out because multiple games. I got the Pacers over the Bucks, and I got the Magic over the Cavaliers. That's my series, fan. Let me know where you differ, if you differ at all. Cleveland, let's jump into this NFL talk, man. Fans, I'm sorry if those of you guys tuned in to hear Mr. Tyler Dragon's feedback on the draft. He'll be with us next week. Unable to join us tonight, but I got a confirmation he will be with us next week. So get your draft conversation, NFL draft questions prepared for Mr. Tyler Dragon, USA Today's NFL beat writer. So we're until then, I had really prepared the show to talk to him, get his feedback on the draft. But Cleveland, let's talk about Eagles signed Devontae Smith to a new deal, 3 years, $75 million. What do you think about that?
Right on par. That's what a second.
Come on back, Lakers Nation. We appreciate the feedback. I had it right, Boots. Don't let Cleveland mess with
you. No, thank you, Boots, because that's how you say it.
Devontae DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo, man. Come on, man.
Oh,
what, he's been in the league like 17 years and you still can't say his name right. That's how you know he's not a star.
Oh no, he's been a star. Actually, I talked to him
because you don't say his name right.
Actually, I talked to Dante after Villanova won their.
Well, that's unfortunate because you still don't know how to say his name right.
I don't know.
Which means he's not a star.
Anyway, what you think of Devontae Smith? Sign a new deal, 3 years, $75 million, $25 a year, Cleveland.
Yeah,
for the
that's on par with what a number two gets.
$25 million.
Yeah,
that's pretty steep, man.
Look around the landscape. He's on.
No, I get it.
That's like Christian Kirk money. That's like DK Metcalf money.
I get it. I get the receiver stock has risen significantly. Their contracts have risen significantly. I 100% get it. That's still a lot of money, man, for the receiver who's going to touch the ball 6 times a game, 6 to 8 times a game, right?
Hoping for 80 catches.
That's still a lot of money. Jeez, come on, give me a break. What's your thoughts on Dirty Pool Robert Kraft, man? What's Robert Kraft in the Dirty Pool telling Arthur Blank not to trust Bill Belichick? Is that
billionaires talk amongst themselves in a very elite circle? And it's very clear that that relationship was not as smooth sailing as people would like it, would like to believe, and that winning cures all things. But that doesn't mean like I really like that dude, or if I had to endorse him outside of not coaching Tom Brady, that I would.
It's one thing to somebody solicit the feedback from you. It's another thing to offer the feedback, slamming the head coach that brought you 6 rings. It made you.
It was in tandem with the quarterback, though, right?
So some of you.
I mean, I know how you feel about Bill, and you're one of the few people, Cam, and tell him again. I will, vouch for you. You're one of the few people Bill will open up to. So I know how you feel about him, but that's not how everyone else feels about him.
Cleveland. I mean, you guys don't want me to go through. You guys don't want me to go through the whole Bill Parcells.
No, I don't need you to go through the whole resume. It has nothing to do with your question. The question was, is it bad that, or a dirty pool that, billionaires are talking amongst themselves? He would just say, yeah, I didn't really like that dude too much.
I think that is so low class, Robert Kraft, and Robert Kraft. I think Roger Goodell should now open up the investigation of about you in them massage parlors down at the strip.
Hey! That's
The strip
that got
mall
squashed.
in South Florida.
Settle out of court.
I think Bill Belichick said, "Hey, take
Non-disclosure
it easy
agreements were.
Bill Belichick said, "Take it easy on the owner." And all of a sudden now he want to turn around and offer up some bad information.
Well, he didn't have to listen, and as I heard it, Blank was still like down to do it. It was the rest of the organization that was like, nah,
No,
we don't want that dude.
Because they knew they were going to lose their job. The person filing papers, the stapler holder knew the wire holder.
Okay, well, again, you're just going into your bias about Bill Belichick. I know how you feel about him and all, but it really wasn't. It didn't come down to the words of Robert Kraft getting him not hired. It came down to the organization, the other people within the organization, other than Robert Kraft, not wanting him to be part of the organization. That's what it came down to, Cam.
Man, I thought that was so low down and dirty of Robert Kraft. Again, I'm Roger Goodell. I got some videotape I'm gonna send you, Roger. Open up your email. Open up your email tomorrow morning. I'm having some videotape of Robert Kraft at another strip mall.
Oh, come on now. Come on now.
Yeah, I thought I saw him down here in Alabama at a strip mall.
That's cold-blooded. Come on now. Don't do that.
Cleveland, this signing really concerns me. I was extremely, and this is another thing I need to talk to Tyler about. I was really excited when the Chargers signed Harbaugh as their head coach.
Mm-hmm.
But his first press conference was really weird. It was weird enough to just have me wondering. Like, I got question marks in my head right now, bouncing around my head.
Mm-hmm.
They signed J.K. Dobbins to a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dog, I thought you were trying to be a running team. I thought you were trying to. This dude has never stayed healthy.
Well, heck, he's seen J.K. Dobbins run plenty at Ohio State while he was at the University of Michigan, and knows what a great character guy he is. And if he's healthy,
5 years ago,
what a contribution he could be to the team.
Wasn't that 5 years ago? He was at
well, they had a great relationship. I believe he tried to recruit J.K. and actually was in his house a few times. Sat on his couch and loved his family and his work ethic. And
but you get into the NFL and you're unable to produce. Like, how does that?
Okay, well, unfortunately, he's had some injury, things that come up, Cam, and if he's fully healthy and has an opportunity, maybe a new environment, maybe a coach that really appreciates him and understands him, be the difference.
I don't know. I don't know. All of a sudden, he's gonna stay healthy now. Is that?
Well, I mean, that's what Jim is trying to see.
Wow, I don't particularly care for that signing. So that tells me a couple of things. This signing tells me a couple of things. Is they want to go with some veteran guys, right? They don't want to go rookies, which I don't so much mind that logic. You go with some guys who've been in the league and know what the league is about. That's cool and all. But this particular guy hasn't stayed healthy. So when he had big expectations coming out of Ohio State, sure.
Well, Cam, you know who's really going. You know who they're really going to go and get, right?
No, they signed Edwards from the short.
Yeah, they're going to figure out a way to draft Blake Corum.
So if they move back to 11 and 23, you think Corum's going to be there at 23 for him?
Oh, Corum is not a first round pick by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, what do you think they're doing? They're going to get him in the second round at number 5.
They're going to get him in the second round.
I mean, those guys that Corum. I mean, I can't say I didn't see anything out of him in college, but that was college.
Yeah, they're waiting for everybody to say like it's too soon to draft a running back. It's too soon to draft a running back, and he wasn't that dude. And he's just gonna keep falling until he finally falls to the Chargers.
He's not Emmitt Smith at 5'10", 220, 215, I think he was.
Hey, Jim has coached this guy for a long time, and I'm telling you, that's where he's going with this.
He was a senior, right? He was a 4-year senior, if I'm not mistaken.
At least 4 years. I don't. Yeah, it wasn't a 3 and out. So.
Yeah, so kind of like college basketball players, right?
No, not at all. Because you never know why he redshirted. There may have been an injury year there. A football player playing 4 years is not the same as a basketball player playing 4 years. Not even close.
You don't think so, huh?
No.
Because if you can come out, you come out. You know what I'm saying? If you can come out, you come out. What are you waiting for in college?
Okay.
We'll see. I don't know. Do you think his game translates to the NFL?
No. But I think that's what Jim Harbaugh is thinking, that it will.
Okay. We'll see. It didn't stand out to me as like he's going to be a big time back in the NFL. So I'd be surprised at that way. The Cowboys signed Royce Freeman, as their running back. I mean, that's neither here nor there. They're looking for somebody in the draft. The Dolphins pick up the 5th-year option on Jalen Waddle. That's a good deal. And Jalen Phillips. Just hate that Phillips is coming off of his Achilles tear. The Dolphins defensive line without Wilkins has major holes. They got their Phillips got hurt. The other guy they traded they got from Denver. Jeez, why am I having a brain fart? Who was on the other side?
Bradley Chubb.
Bradley Chubb got hurt. Bradley Chubb is older than Phillips, so we're still hoping that Phillips can come back and and have some production. Chubb's got hurt later than Phillips did, so I'm not sure he's going to be ready for the opening week. But they're both going to be. I mean, either way, they're going to be without. They have a big gaping hole in the middle without Wilkins. And I had a thought, and there, I don't know if I should talk about this right now. I was going to talk about it with Tyler, but I'll tease you guys. Either the quarterback or receiver should be on the block. It might be too late, and I was thinking maybe they should have put the quarterback or the receiver on the block so they can still sign Wilkins. So now that Wilkins is gone, I don't feel differently, but we have to identify somebody to fill the hole in the middle of our defense. The quarterback or the receiver should be on the block. No, that I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that and let you guys speculate. What's your thoughts there?
Well, I don't think either should be on the block, but between those two, it would have to be the receiver. The quarterback's not going anywhere, Cam.
And you know who I was leading to. You know who I was already leading to.
Yeah, no, yeah. Everybody got your subliminal message there. Yeah. Reading between the tea leaves, that's fine. But Tua is about to be the third or fourth highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. So
and that's going to be a terrible decision. That's going to be as worse as not signing Wilkins. Cleveland, Cortland Sutton doesn't report to minicamp in Denver, seeking a new deal. Is this big deal or no deal?
Yeah, that's voluntary. So no big deal.
You know how these things they say they're voluntary, but
yeah, and they are. You don't get fined, or there's no punishment if you don't go.
There's no standing punishment. No. CeeDee Lamb does not report to Cowboy voluntary off-season workouts in Dallas. Big deal or no deal?
No deal. No big deal.
No big deal.
Mm-mm.
Cleveland. Justin Jefferson did not report to the Vikings voluntary off-season workout. Big deal or no deal?
No big deal.
So you're okay with your players not coming in, not being a part of the team. You're okay with that?
To voluntary, yeah, I'm okay with that. And of all the situations that you just aforementioned, Justin Jefferson is the one that has the most reason to not be there. There's no contract, and you have no idea who the quarterback is. So why would you be there? Hang out just to hang out is these are professional NFL players, and they don't really get a whole lot of time to just not have anything to do. So why go show up at Vikings voluntary camp and catch passes from Sam Darnold? No, I don't understand. Why would you do that?
It's a complete crap.
Yeah, he's in a tough situation. I was looking for the
look like a buffoon.
I was looking for my Emmitt Smith. I guess I'll have the Emmitt Smith loaded and ready to go. Because that was the exact argument we were discussing. The situation where he discussed it. Emmitt Smith was not under contract. He did not have a contract that he was for him to report to, so it was not a holdout. Yeah, I mean, you want him there as a leader to show these other receivers, how to be the best receiver, or in contention for the best receiver in the league. That's why you want him there.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive tackle DeForest Buckner signs a new deal, 2-year, $46 million extension with the Colts. Is that you like that signing?
I like it.
2-year, $46 million.
Yeah,
he's a beast and all, but sheesh.
I like it.
20+ mil per.
I'm okay with it.
Rashid Rice surrendered to authorities last week on charges of including aggravated assault with the sports car he was renting. He's also being sued for over $1 million by a couple of the injured people. How does this end, man? I asked you this before, but now that new details are coming out, do you expect him to start the season?
No.
The Chiefs out clearly. Are they going to cut him?
Depends on how the draft goes. Depends on I can't say it depends on how free agency goes, because all the receivers that they would have picked up have already been picked up.
You think if Worthy falls to him at 29, what 30, I think 30, 31? No, I think they're 29. Do you if Worthy falls to him at 29, do you think they pick up? If they were to get Worthy, does Rashid Rice wear a Chiefs uniform again?
The more I'm thinking about this, Cam, I mean, it's not as easy as just plug and play in that offense as we would like it to, make it out to be. It certainly needs to be a pretty high profile receiver, which Rice was on his way to becoming.
Yeah,
it would have to be probably a veteran guy that just is no longer meeting what his team's future wants to be.
Like a Cortland Sutton?
Like a Cortland Sutton.
Although I don't think they're the same type of receiver, Cortland Sutton.
They're not, but like a player that's just like, okay, you're either too old for what it is that we're trying to do, or you're going to make too much money and we don't want to pay you. It has to be that kind of situation. Just drafting somebody to just take Rasheed Rice's, spot. This is where you start looking at those Pittsburgh receivers, right? This is when you start looking at, DeAndre, you really, did you really like it down there in Nashville? Those type of things.
This is a wild situation, man. Rasheed Rice it finds himself in. Cleveland, who's noteworthy rising up your draft board? You got anybody that's caught your eye here in recent weeks?
Not really rising up because the draft it's just been so just dissected ad nauseum that you know what all the players are, you know what they can all do. It's just all speculation at this point, and it's just been speculated to death. So I wouldn't say anyone that just like jumped out of nowhere or has fallen, had this precipitous drop in the draft board. It's all just posturing right now. And this is the time you get all that misinformation because teams want to like manipulate where players are going to get drafted. And it's up to you. It's up to you to decide if you want to, take the risk or yeah.
So I'm with you. With our show next Wednesday night is just a night ahead of the draft. So again, talk to Tyler. We're gonna have Tyler, the NFL beat writer for USA Today. We're gonna have him on the show next week. So I got a list of questions for him, and I gonna broach a couple topics that we talked about today with him, Cleveland. But one thing I heard that was interesting, I actually heard this today. Steve Smith, you know who Steve Smith is. Steve Smith is correct.
Yes.
Steve Smith Senior, I guess. For those who don't know, Steve Smith Jr. Steve Smith Senior. He was asked who was the better receiver out of the top three, and the top three being Marvin Harrison, Roma Dunze, and Malik Neighbors. Who do you think he picked as a top three receiver, or who we expect to have the best season? Right now, before you answer, Cleveland, Chicago is up 105 to 89. A minute 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. So Chicago look like they're extending the lead over the Hawks. Not looking good for the Hawks. Not looking good for the Hawks. And somebody just drained the three. Who was that? The Chicago just drained the three. So it's 108 to 89 with 55 seconds left in the third quarter. DeJounte going to the hole. Now I told you Capella gets his shot blocked. Bam.
That's hard to do.
Or excuse me, that was I take it back. That was Drummond defending the paint. defending the paint, and it is yelling at the fans. Yeah, they're fired up in Chicago. DeJounte with the good pass, and give me that. Give me all of that, buddy. You get nothing, and you'll like it. Atlanta Hawks are gonna blow it up. I'm kind of disappointed. Go back to this NBA talk. I'm kind of disappointed in the Hawks. I told you, Cleveland, I thought when they made the draft or when they made the trade last season for DeJounte Murray, I thought that would immediately put Trae Young on the blocks. I was kind of surprised they actually came into the season with him, but because they didn't have a full season with him, I could understand how they want to see how that works out. It was weird when I walked into the Hawks locker room right before the draft this season, or excuse me, not right before the end of the trade deadline this season. I went to go talk to DeJounte Murray, and the first thing he said is no draft talk, or excuse me, no trade talk, no trade. He didn't want to talk anything about the NBA trade deadline. This was probably Saturday before the Tuesday deadline. He didn't want to even discuss it. But I thought it would have been odd for the Hawks to give up a 1 and a 2 for DeJounte Murray and then trade him less than a full season later. I thought that would have been extremely odd. I thought it made more sense to just go ahead and say thank you, Trae. Thanks for all you've done, because I, unlike Reggie Miller, am not enamored with Trae Young. I've never been enamored with Trae Young. He's a liability on defense. I think that hurts I think that hurts your team. The only thing I keep hearing is nobody can spread the floor like him, and then he gets assist. He's a 30-10 guy. I don't want to see him in San Antonio, although I kind of hear that's an environment made for Trae Young. Him to play with Wemby is a ideal situation. Sure, the Wemby needs a point guard. I agree to that. Wemby could then erase a lot of the defense liability that Trae Young brings to the court. Fans, I'm sorry to just kind of saw the score of this NBA game. And I just want to leave some commentary on the Hawks. I guess from that standpoint, that he has the ultimate eraser, and Victor Wembanyama behind him would make that trade make sense. And because Victor does need a point guard, he does need somebody to help Trae Young will spread the floor. I don't see winner in Trae Young. Am I wrong, Cleveland?
No, that doesn't work. Absolutely not, because Trae Young needs the ball too much, and the problem in San Antonio is that they don't give Victor the ball enough. So yeah, it's a lose-lose situation for both teams.
But Trae Young, and I don't necessarily disagree with you, but Trae Young over his career, I think he is this season he's 25-2-10. For his career, he's 25 and 9 3 and 9.
Yeah, but those assists are not true point guard assists, and they're I mean, there are a lot of lobs to Capella. I mean, there are a lot of just wide open. I'm double teamed. I'm just passing the ball out. That's not the same as being a floor general, if you will. That's just kind of being someone that can get assists because of his shooting range. That's not what Victor Wembanyama needs.
I agree with you. Thank you for actually agreeing with me, Cleveland. Good work out of you. That's something I don't want to. I don't want to see that. But he does need a point guard who can shoot the three, Victor, and somebody who knows how to pass. And he does check those two boxes. I just don't see winner out of Trae Young. All right, fans, back to the NFL conversation. I told you so. Did I answer the question? Who? I told you.
You did not. I assume it was going to be a Neighbors from LSU.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Neighbors from LSU ran the 4-3. And he gets open and he makes plays. And Cleveland, what I was telling you about Rome, big body receiver, but I just never see him run away from anybody. So that's not a knock on him. That's just I didn't see it. And not saying that it can't happen at 4'4", 6. What is he? 6'3" something? 6'3", 200 pounds.
6'3", 211.
So he may be able to get away from somebody. I just hadn't seen it. And all these, obviously, we're seeing a lot of clips, right? I see him catching a lot of balls on the sideline, reaching over people, catching those passes. A big catch radius. I see that. See him a big moves the chains guy. So if he's able to catch it over the middle, did he catch it going over the middle in Washington?
He did. It was usually a slant that went a little bit further than just over the middle, but yeah.
Okay, again, I didn't see him catch a slant and take it to the house. Man, we would want to see those highlights. Nonetheless, and Harrison, surprisingly, to my surprise, and I think I'm giving it away right there when I say that, Cleveland, the question was asked, who would he prefer to catch passes from? And I probably just gave it away with my surprisingly. Who did he say he would rather catch passes from? Of those top 5 quarterbacks, being obviously the top 5 quarterbacks being Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniel, Jake May, McCarthy, and Penix Jr.
He would prefer to catch passes from Michael Penix Jr. because Michael Penix Jr. throws people open.
Oh, you must have seen what I saw.
I did not, but I mean that's fairly obvious. Those other quarterbacks are.
Cleveland. So that's essentially what he said. He said he's a veteran quarterback. He's an older quarterback, a more mature quarterback who understands that angle of the game. And I found that very interesting. With that being said, shouldn't Odunze have some catch and run opportunities?
He did. I don't know what you're looking for or what you didn't see. I mean, he played on a team that went 14-1. I'm sorry if the if the highlight reel for you wasn't impressive enough with just running, Rocket Ishmael type speed down the field. Sorry. 6'3", 211, runs a 4.47. You throw him open all the time. He has 3 receivers that will go in the first 3 rounds.
Guys. Polk was a guy who caught and ran the ball. I've seen Polk catch a slant.
Okay, if you didn't see it, If you didn't see it, you didn't see it, Cam. If you don't think it's there, then
I didn't see it. Show me 2 clips of him catching.
I don't have the highlight. I don't have the Roman Dunze highlight reel to pull up for you and show you exactly the clip you need to see that shows him catching the ball and just running away from everybody. I don't have that.
Is it not there? Is that why you don't have it?
I think that perhaps the way he was used was different than perhaps you wanted him to be used. But again, my comp is a cross between Jamar Chase and DeAndre Hopkins. That's my comp.
All right, let's do this for shits and grins. It's Cleveland missing something. Let's do this for shits and grins. All right, fans, I'm gonna do this just for Cleveland. But fans, bear with me because I didn't see it. Cleveland wants to tell me I don't know what I was looking at. I don't know anything about what I was looking at, but let's do this for shits and grins. Okay, bear with me. Cleveland want to tell me I don't know what the heck I was seeing. I don't. All of a sudden, I don't know football, and this is Cleveland wants to tell me. And when I say I didn't see it, I didn't freaking see it. Okay. So if you saw it, fans, if you see, did he catch it on that play? On that play? Let's see. Was that a catch and run on that play? Was that a catch and run? Let me see. I'm just looking for one catch and run, catch and break away from somebody. Was that a catch and run? Again, I'm just looking for one play where you catch the ball and run away from somebody. Was that a catch and run? Just one play where you catch the ball. Okay, let's see what happens here. He runs out of bounds. Let's see. Show me one play where he catches it and runs for some yards. Does he get in the end zone there? Look. Show me one play where he catches and runs away from somebody. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking, fans. I don't think that's asking too much from a top 3 receiver in potentially an NFL draft. Not another play. Again, I just want to see one catch and run. Can I see one catch and run? Do you break away? Come on. I just want to see one catch and run play. I mean, I see a possession receiver. That's what I see. Then make a play. Get away from the defender. Make a play. This is the Pac-10. I see a possession receiver. Okay. Oh, on a reverse. Oh, wide open. So he ran away from the offensive coordinator, schemed the play away. Now here we go. Right in the middle of the field. Okay. That's what I'm talking. Okay. Possession receiver. He's a possession receiver. That's what I'm saying right now. Possession receiver. Oh, look at this. He actually made a play and got more than 10 yards past the first tackler. Oh, that was impressive. Does he get in the end zone here? Take it to the end zone. This is the Pac-12. I'm still looking for one catch and run away from somebody. Great catch.
That's not even Rome. Are these just Penix clips or what?
No, doesn't do that. Cut your run away from Cleveland. Do you know what I'm talking about? You got me. Run away from that guy. Get in the end zone.
Okay. Well, hey, man. Great. Okay.
That's all I want to see.
Man. Cool.
That's all I want to see.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I want to see, fans. Help me out. Am I missing something?
I'm really
trying to see if I'm missing something.
You're missing a whole lot calling him a possession receiver.
He is.
Because
That's all I see is a possession
because he's
receiver.
not doing Xavier Worthy type stuff.
No, I want to see you.
That's fine. That's fine, Cam. We understand. We understand what side of the ledger you're on, and that's cool.
I see a possession receiver. He just ran away from. In 3 minutes of the video, I have seen him run away from nobody.
Okay.
Oh, can he get to the house? Can he get to the house? Can he get to the house? Does he get to the house on this play? Oh, they cut it off. I mean, I want to see him get to the house. I was excited about him getting to the house. I've seen it. Not one play where he got to the house. Can you get to the house on this play against Cal? No, he doesn't.
All right. Well, I still think he'll be a top 10 pick. We'll see.
He's going to be a top 10 pick. That's not my argument. He's clearly going to be a top 10 pick.
Okay, I still think he'll be quite productive in his rookie season in the NFL.
I mean, come on. Boots, do you feel what I'm saying, Boots? I want to see a catch and run.
He absolutely does not, which is why he has the smiley face and the hilarious sign up, because your whole breakdown of his footage was just like, wow, where is he not showing how he's dominating?
He showed me a possession receiver. That's what he showed me. Okay. A possession receiver. Did you see?
You make that so much such a bad thing in such a negative way.
You move the sticks.
It's a possession receiver.
I said
like Keenan Allen was a possession receiver, or
exactly, yes,
like Jamar Chase,
Ding, ding. No, Jamar Chase goes to the house. You mentioned Keenan Allen was a great comp right there. Possession.
Like Stephon Diggs was like a possession receiver.
Yeah. Stephon Diggs broke 3 tackles against the Dolphins this past season and took it to the house. There's highlights of Stephon Diggs breaking tackles and going to the house. That's all I'm saying. I didn't see in the 4 minutes of clips.
Okay, well, hey man, nobody needs you to be on Team Rome. That's fine.
No, I'm trying to say, Cleveland, show me where I'm wrong. We just showed 4 minutes.
Man, I don't have any highlights of him like catching the ball on the 10 and then running 90 yards for a touchdown. I don't have any highlights where he catches the ball on a slant and runs 75 yards up the field for a touchdown. I don't have any of those. So if that's what you need to see, then hey man,
that's a big play.
You don't need to be Team Rome then.
He's a possession receiver. Mark my words. 3 years. I mean, and that's no. I mean, he's still making it in the NFL. He's still going to be.
Well, hey man, no. You don't need to take it back. You don't need to walk it back, Cam. Leave it there.
I'm not walking it back. Possession receiver. That's what I see.
Okay, cool.
And show me different. I just looked at. I had never.
It's not for me to tell you different. It will be up to Rome and Caleb to show you different.
Oh, you think that's where he's going to be?
That's.
I mean, that would be a good situation. If he's playing with a rookie quarterback, he's going to.
Don't worry about Rome's situation. He's just going to be possession receiver anyway, so don't worry about it.
He is. That's exactly what I said.
Well then, yeah, Larry Fitzgerald, man. Don't worry about it.
Larry Fitzgerald took it to the house. That's what you see. That's what you're mistaking. There's Larry Fitzgerald
and Anquan Bolden, man. Just leave it there, man.
Sure. Anquan Bolden. What are you talking about? Anquan Bolden took it to the house. Larry Fitzgerald, one of his signature moments is running down the field in the Super Bowl after on a 70-plus yard touchdown that they thought was going to be the game.
Okay, well, hey man, look. Apparently, Roman's just going to catch 7 10-yard passes his whole career.
You know what I see? He has a potential. He has the potential to be, and this is going to put a lot on him. And I don't think he's going to be that because I didn't see that. But he's going to be the possession receiver like Michael Irvin was a possession receiver. That's how Michael Irvin was a possession receiver. Michael Irvin, very rarely did he take it to the house for the Dallas Cowboys. But you can always count on him to get you that 12-yard out. He was going to be right there. That's what I saw you out of the room. I didn't see nothing more than that right there. I didn't see anything more than that because he's not burning nobody up down the field. He don't have to shake and wiggle. So that's all I see. And correct me, fans, if I'm wrong. If you guys want to laugh at me, let me know that I'm wrong.
No. Sounds like a Hall of Fame career to me.
I don't know about a Hall of Fame career.
Well, the comp is Michael Irvin. He's in the Hall of Fame, 3-time Super Bowl champ, right?
I don't know.
You didn't see him take it to the house very often, but you just compared him to Michael Irvin. So
that type of player,
same body type, same speed.
That type of player, that very type of player. Is he going to be Michael Irvin? Woo. That's again. I said before. I prefaced it with saying,
"Hey Cam, you don't have to take nothing back, man. We hear what you're saying about Rome."
Chris Carter, yeah, very very Chris Carter. Yeah, I can see that. Chris Carter. I can see that. I can see that. I mean, I'm not sure Chris dropped anything.
Well, you go with Maserati Marvin. Stick with him.
Okay, so you're confident in Rome. All right, fans. So let's jump into this. Let's jump into this week in history segment right here. Remember, next week we'll have Tyler Dragon to jump on. Tyler Dragon's going to help clear some of this up and then let Cleveland know where I'm right.
Yeah.
Well, what you got to say? Go ahead, say.
I got nothing to say.
Don't choke.
My draft record speaks for itself, man.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Fans, this week in history segment, man, we do this segment just to help educate the fans, help educate you guys listening, and just to kind of shout out to some of the trailblazers of the past in Black history, kind of give you some remember of what they actually did to make society what it's become. April 16th, 1853, Cleveland. Harriet Tubman began working with the Underground Railroad, a network of activists to help save slaves or helping slaves, escape from the South. Tubman is estimated to have personally contributed to the escape of 300 slaves back in the day. April 16, 1862, President Abraham Lincoln signed a bill ending slavery in the District of Columbia. 4/19/1947, Cleveland. What happened? Do you know that day? Did that day stand?
Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in baseball.
Becoming the first African American Major League Baseball player. 1966, Bill Russell named coach of the Boston Celtics team, making him the first African American head coach in the NBA. 1967, a year later, the U.S. Supreme Court barred Muhammad Ali's request to be blocked from induction into the U.S. Army. Then they stripped him from the title subsequently. April 16, 1973, Layla Smith Foley elected mayor of Taft, Oklahoma, making her the first African American woman to be elected mayor of a U.S. city.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, April 18th, 1977, Pulitzer Prize winner was Pulitzer Prize awarded to an author for his groundbreaking biographical novel Roots. Who was the author?
It was Alex Haley.
1977. April 19th, 1978, Max Robinson become the first African American to anchor the network news. ABC News World News Tonight, in the 1978. April 18th, 1983, African American author Alice Walker was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for what book, Cleveland?
Color Purple.
So most of you guys should know this stuff here. 4/17/2001, Cleveland. What San Francisco Giant hit his 500th home run?
Barry Lamar Bonds.
Still not better than Shohei Ohtani. Cleveland, did you watch the WNBA draft on the draft lottery? What, Monday night?
I didn't watch it, Cam. I turned in and out a little bit, kind of see where some of the players were going. It's kind of a thing where like, am I like trying to figure out like, am I really that super duper interested, or is it kind of like the storyline that's kind of going? And so I was kind of conflicted with regards to that. We obviously knew who was going number one. It's like, how much do I really care where these other players are going? And so it was kind of like a little bit, mild curiosity, but not like I gotta watch the draft kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah, they are going crazy in Indy. I mean, they got her and old girl from South Carolina the year before, so they should be a bit better. Cleveland, my next question is: do you think Caitlin is going to help make the Fever a contender for a championship anytime soon, or they're just going to be okay?
It depends on how her game, translates to the WNBA. I think she'll still be able to, cash that jumper from Logo Land, but is that going to, make them competitive with the likes of the Aces and the Liberty? It's hard to say. It's probably a little bit too soon. I don't think that she can impact the game in that dramatic of a way to kind of usurp those other teams. So I think it's going to be a little bit of, she's not going to come in and play for the championship next year, if that's your question.
Yeah, that was my question. So I think a good thing,
not so much.
I think a good so we have 5 minutes to go in this game. Is 121 Chicago, 102 to the Hawks. Now it's 124 Chicago, 102 to the Hawks. So it looks like the Bulls are going to be advanced to play. Kobe White got 40 points. Oh my goodness. 8 wow. I mean, obviously I'm doing the show, I ain't watching the game, but 40 points from Kobe White. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't I think what's going to help her is she stays in the Midwest. So that's going to
that's not going to help her win a WNBA championship.
No,
that will help her popularity and the growth of the game for sure. But yeah,
it'll help the growth of the game. I think it's going to help her comfort level. Like, sure, she's used to having a lot of eyeballs on her, but she's not New York. She's not in the glitz and glamour of LA. So her being into another kind of a basketball market, if you will, is people aren't going to be too harsh. It would be my expectation of what she does, and saying, let's ride this out. Let's see how she does, and they're going to be on her side. So I think that's going to help her her comfort level as the season grows and develops. So I'll be looking forward to it. Another good thing is for them is they play pretty soon. Like, she's not going to have to wait 3 months before she actually meets her teammates, before she actually start get some game run. Like, they're going to be playing. I'm not sure exactly when the season starts, but it starts in a few weeks if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and they're one of the leagues that kind of takes the break for the Olympics, right? So they kind of, like, when that happens, they kind of step back and then get back into it, or is the Olympics going to be after the season's over?
Well, no, the Olympics won't be after the season's over, but yeah, they'll take a break, and so that'll be a good thing because I think the Olympics is a good thing for most players, especially younger players, because I would suspect that she's going to be an Olympic on the Olympic team. I would suspect. I don't know how it's all going to round out, but what that does is allow a younger player in men's on the men's team and the women's team to get around veterans, to see how veterans, how they go about their routine, how they
but on the men's game, they don't stop the season in the middle of the season to do it, though.
Well, it's because it's not
that's different,
but because it's not the season though. But that's, I mean, other than that, everything is going to be the same. Except they don't stop the season. but her chance to get around other veterans around the league or veterans in the game will help her grow significantly, right? Because when she starts out, she's just going to be with her coach and her team, and maybe there's nobody better than her on her team, so they're looking to her for that guidance and for her tricks and tips and practice habits. How do they get better? But if she goes to the Olympics, she's going to be around veteran players who have been in the league and been playing basketball for more years than she has, so she can pick up on those things, right? She can steal some ideas and tips and tricks, etc. That's what makes NBA players better, is when they're able to pick up these practice habits and these different tricks and drills that the other guys are running. They get better because of that, and so I think she'll get better because of that as well. So that's a good thing for her. Cleveland, we got some boxing coming up. In fact, now that Eddie Hearns has been getting busy with the pocketbook, he signs Deontay Wilder with Matchroom. So we're going to see more Deontay Wilder fights as they're going to be fighting with they have a kind of inside track to fighting over in Saudi Arabia in Ryder. So Deontay Wilder is going to get some more fights. Although he might be in the back, the back nine of his career. Jaron Boots Ennis. Are you familiar with Boots Ennis?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
He signs with Eddie Hearns as well. So Boots Ennis is you're gonna get this confused when I say this. But hopefully some boxing fans out there understand what I'm saying. Boots Ennis was kind of in the shadows of Earl Spence Jr. Same weight class, but they were in the same camp for a minute, so they weren't going to fight each other. But Ennis was the next guy, if you will. Crawford beat Spence, obviously, who they're supposed to have the rematch. But Crawford wouldn't fight Boots Ennis, because Boots Ennis he would have just been beating another guy. Good guy, but he wasn't a champion. He didn't have the pedigree, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like Cleveland. This isn't a fair analogy, but the Timberwolves or the Thunder coming out of nowhere, and why you don't give them the respect that I think you deserve is because you haven't seen it from them. You haven't seen the playoff scars from them, and you're kind of hesitant. In basketball, it is different, where you kind of have to take. And here's where I agree with you. You kind of have to have a heartbreak loss, right? Show some promise, have a heartbreak loss before people can trust you. I totally get it. But when you have the superstar talent like Jaron Boots Ennis is, and he is talented, don't get me wrong. Though he hasn't had that battle scars or wounds, he beats his opponents up so easily and quickly that it has scared a lot of people away from fighting him, because he's a dangerous fighter. Kind of didn't, not to say he would beat Crawford or challenge Crawford, but that was a more difficult fight than Crawford wanted to give a nobody. When I say nobody, because Boots Ennis didn't have any belts, haven't achieved that accolade, haven't achieved the accolades that somebody like Crawford would fight. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
what does signing with Eddie Hearn, how does that change any of that you just said?
Eddie Hearns he's going to put Boots Ennis is going to have more fights, and they're going to be recognizable fights. They're going to be on.
So you're making Eddie Hearn seem like the Dana White of boxing. Like, oh, once you sign with me, you just get a whole bunch of fights. You still got to make the fights. It still has to make financial sense. Eddie Hearn is not like some revolutionary
He's
like
not.
boxing
He's not.
promoter that all of a
He's
sudden
not.
like, oh, you come to me and you get exposure, you get all these fights, you get to fight everywhere.
So with when Boots Ennis was what PBC, he wasn't the top bill of PBC. The top bill of PBC was Earl Spence Jr. He was behind Errol Spence Jr. in the same weight class. He wasn't gonna ever exceed Earl. He wasn't ever going to be put in front of Earl Spence Jr. After
Even
that
if Errol
loss,
Spence Jr. loses fights over and over again.
well, he didn't. He hasn't lost fights over and over. That's the deal. Like we still,
Yeah, because they won't let him fight fights that he's going to lose. They're always fixed.
There you go. Not quote unquote fixed, Cleveland. Not
They're handpicked.
They weren't handpicked. It's fair. And this is what I learned by covering boxing. Most times, the promoter puts you in fights that they expect that you will win. They're not fixed per se, but they expect you to win that fight. Like they expected Tim Tszyu to beat Sebastian Fundora. Had not been for the nasty cut on Tim Tszyu's head, he likely would have beat Sebastian Fundora. But the way, it's boxing is a sport, is unpredictable. He gets a cut, he's bleeding profusely from his head, is bothering him all around. Fundora ends up winning that fight. If Fundora doesn't win that fight, things go as planned. We see Tim Tszyu fighting it should have been fighting Terrence Crawford, but we see that fight or him fighting Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford this June or July. But as things happen, both fighters need to heal, etc. So that kind of threw a monkey wrench in the system. However, Boots Ennis will be getting, because now Eddie Hearns is the marketing dude, not only here in the States, but he's with Saudi Arabia, those guys over in Saudi Arabia who wants to pay. They want to bring boxing. They're trying to bring boxing to Saudi Arabia and make that a world stage for boxing. Like Vegas is a world stage. Like Vegas is the center stage for boxing. Saudi Arabia is trying to make or the king and the highness or all those guys, dignitaries in Saudi Arabia, is trying to make Saudi Arabia a home for boxing, like we see Vegas being a home for boxing. Did that make sense? You got what I'm saying? And
sure.
So they're willing to pay big dollars. They're paying big dollars more than anybody over here is paying for fights. So they want to pay big dollars just for the fighters to come over there and fight. The guys, I forget what he called himself, the senior highness of diplomatic highness of boxing or some crap he called himself. But they're willing to pay all the money, big dollar for that they have. They have expendable income, down the street. They're willing to pay fighters to come over there and fight. And Eddie Hearns has their ear. So he's like, I can get this guy, I can get this guy, I can get this guy. So what that does is now we can have the potential to see a Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua fight, which that would have been a more difficult fight. We haven't seen that fight. That would have been a more difficult fight with Deontay Wilder being part of PBC, because PBC is like, okay, I want to make some money too. While you, Eddie Hearns, you can't make all the money, and then they come to a stalemate. Well, now having Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua under the same promotional umbrella and the same promotional house, if you will, now that's an easier fight to make, if that makes sense. And Boots Ennis, now where Boots Ennis was not the priority for PBC. He may not be the priority for Eddie Hearns and Matchroom, but he's going to get him some fights. And now he's going to make that, and he's a good enough fighter that he'll be a recognizable fighter once he gets a couple more fights. So he'll probably fight twice this year. We're only in April. He may fight in June or July. He'd have to fight in June to fight again at the end of the year. So we'll see more fights out of him, and you will appreciate Boots Ennis when you see him, when you actually see him. This weekend we have Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia in Brooklyn. You know who Devin Haney is. You've seen Ryan Garcia get knocked out by Tank Davis. I don't know that Devin Haney is going to knock him out. Well, I don't know that Devin Haney is going to knock him out, but Devin Haney is going to win this fight walking away. If Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney is going to win this fight walking away. If he knocked out Prograis in the 9th round, again, Devin Haney is going to. I'll just say that. I'm not going to say he's going to knock him out. He's going to win this fight walking away easily. It's going to be easy fight. Ryan Garcia shouldn't be in this fight. Actually, he talked his way into this fight, like he talked his way into the fight with Tank Davis. He got hit in the ribs. He took a knee, essentially quit. Does Haney have that power? This would be a good opportunity to display that power for Devin Haney. He's gonna win this fight. He's gonna jab him. Ryan Garcia will not hinder Devin Haney in any way in this fight, and we'll have a better idea of his knockout power after this fight. Does he have the power to knock him out? I don't know. He's definitely going to outpoint him. Either way, and will his punching wear him out by the 8th or 9th round? That's yet to be seen. That's yet to be seen. But they fight this weekend in Brooklyn, pay-per-view. I mean, if you want to see a dominating fight, I know Haney's going to win in dominating fashion, whether it goes the distance or he ends up knocking out. That's going to be a good fight. Or if you want to just see a dominant fight, that's going to be a good fight. We get Dimitri Bivol against Arturo Beterbiev. That is a can't miss fight. Light heavyweight champion, undisputed champion. Couple of things about this fight. Did you see Bivol beat Canelo when Canelo tried to go up to 2 weight classes and he got his ass whooped? Did you see that fight? Bivol beat Canelo. How Bivol just simply walked through Canelo. Well, Beterbiev is arguably better than Bivol. So that makes you, if you saw Bivol work, Beterbiev has more punching power. He's not. I don't think he's the more developed fighter than Dimitri Bivol, but he's a pounder. He's coming in there to hit you as hard as he can, as often as he can, for as long as he can. Again, Bivol has more technique and tactics behind him, but Beterbiev is just gonna try to pound the shit out of you for as long as he can, as hard as he can, as often as he can. And that's gonna be like, boy, oh boy, oh boy. If you saw Bivol walk through Canelo Alvarez, you had to be impressed with that performance of Dimitri Bivol. Well, I tell you, Beterbiev is probably tough. Is much more. He's not walking through Beterbiev like he walked through Canelo. He's not doing that. And Beterbiev, though he may not be as graceful and as tactical, he's coming to knock this shit out of you. It's hard. It hits you as hard as he can for as long as he can, as long as that fight goes on. There's going to be no quitting that one. So that is going to be an excellent brawl. That's coming up June 1. So there's something for you guys to look at. There's also the Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal. They're fighting pro boxing grudge match. 2 UFC fighters moving into boxing. Yeah, are you familiar with Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal?
I am, but more for their grappling and flying knee kicks than their punching. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, they're just Nate Diaz. If you've seen Nate Diaz fight, he likes to punch and just try to knock you out anyway. Jorge Masvidal.
Didn't he just yeah, because he's the weird guy that I always like, looks at the crowd and stuff. Yeah.
But Jorge Masvidal is he's all around warrior. Those guys in the UFC, man, are warriors, man. You got to give them credit, man. You got to give those guys credit. They're warriors. But so that'll be because they're two UFC guys. Boxing is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. It kind of takes a couple skill sets away from them, both, right? But then they're just both boxing. So it's like, okay, let's get in here and brawl. And like we saw at the end of the Justin Gaethje fight versus Max Holloway, you saw that fight, right? How at the end of it, they they threw all their grappling, everything went to the side, right? They left it all in the corner, and then for the last round, did they ever go to the ground? Did they ever go to the ground in that fight? I'm having.
You have to go to the ground at some point in a UFC fight. So
I don't remember them going to the ground in that fight though. Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't recall them going to the ground. Maybe they did.
I just recall several eye gouges like it was a Three Stooges movie. So
it's funny to say accidental, but those I don't think they were intentional.
No, well, a few of them his fingers were straight out and he just went straight for his eye. It was crazy.
But a lot of those, when they put in there, that's to kind of gauge the range of them. I hear what you're saying. It's hard to say the eye gouge is accidental, but he's kind of more gauging the distance, and he gauged it, and then he pokes him in the eye. He did it. He poked him in the eye, and then last time he poked him in the eye with his thumb.
The eye with his thumb. Yeah.
I mean, a point probably should have been taken away, but I mean, it's hard to say it's not intentional when you eye gouge the guy in the 3 times. I mean, it's hard to say that that's not intentional. But in that final round with the clock winding down, they both just got in the middle of the ring and just said, "Let's go for it." Threw everything aside, any training that we were planning to do, any tactical advantages that we were planning to take, they just went to the middle of the ring and start brawling. And Gaethje got the short end because Max caught him right on the chin, and he went down like a sack of potatoes. Again,
yeah, that was the first fight I can think of where I said, they really need to bring the stretcher in here. They don't need this dude to be up on his feet, walking around, talking, waiting to announce the winner. They need to bring the stretcher.
Were you at Tank Davis fight when they brought the stretcher? Were you at that fight? There was a Tank Davis fight at the. I don't remember if you were there.
Not the one that I attended there.
So before that fight, that one you attended, before that one, Tank hit dude was out for 10 minutes, and they had to bring the stretcher out. Like they actually stretchered him out the ring. Like, here's a stretcher. Let's pull him out under the ropes and let's get this dude out of the ring because he laid there for like 10 minutes. It was a Showtime fight. I don't remember who was fighting, but it was Tank laid him out. Tank, went and did his celebratory backflip, jump on the second rope and did the flip back, and the dude's still laying there. He done bounced off the bat and dude's still laying there. But dude was out for like 10 minutes. And then they brought the stretcher out and it was like, okay, dude, let's get him out of the eyesight. But yeah, it was those guys in the UFC, man. You gotta love them, bro. Are you more of a fan of UFC or boxing?
More of a fan of boxing when boxing is on its game.
When boxing is on its game, I gotta appreciate the UFC fighters. I appreciate their spirit. I mean, they're just so ballsy. I mean, to get in there, and UFC has come to the point where. How far do you go back in UFC? Do you remember watching the first one or?
I remember watching when like Horace Gracie would just hold people for like 20 minutes and then finally get him into a submission. I remember when like Maurice Smith
So you
had
remember
his run.
number
I
one.
remember when. Sorry.
You remember UFC 1?
Yeah, I mean,
When
I remember watching it. I mean, I remember it was just always Hoist Gracie, Hoist Gracie, Hoist Gracie, and then it
Yeah.
was Marie Smith, Marie Smith, Marie Smith, and it was Shamrock, Shamrock, Shamrock. So it kind of had its evolution kind of through those three fighters, and then it kind of became a
Okay.
little bit more athletic. Like the fighter could do a few more things. They weren't so like just one dimensional, so to speak. And so
Well,
then it kind of took off from there.
so UFC 1, I'll never forget it. I would never forget this. It's probably 2000 or not 2000. This is probably 95, 96, 97, somewhere in there. 96, 97, I guess. I was in Virginia. But they had UFC 1 and they had for this weekend there's a tournament with every style fighter you could think of. The kung fu artist, the muscle man, the grappler, the wrestler, the jujitsu artist. They had you name a style fighter, they had it at UFC 1. Uh, Roy Nelson, I think, was Roy Nelson there? Had Roy Nelson fight just the country boy, the country backwoods dude who just tried to knock you out every, big pot belly, just tried to knock you out in every punch. But Royce Gracie was just the what was he, 5'8", 175 pounds. I always thought the gi was cheating. I thought the gi was cheating because yes, he would duck all your punches and slither around and wait for that opening and then get you in a leg lock or an arm lock and then
And then you
eventually
can't get out.
and
And
then
you
just
just be
choke you
you just be
out.
holding you there for like 20 minutes. It's like
And
this
choke
is
you out.
super boring. Yeah,
But it worked against any
it
style.
worked.
Against any style fight, whether it was a wrestler, whether it was a muscle bound puncher, whether whoever he fought again this weekend. The original UFC 1 was like a 3-day event where every style of fighter fought each other in a tournament fashion, and then Gracie won the whole shit with his cheating gi. It was. I always thought. I told him that too. I said, me and my friend, when I met him, I actually met him, which was the coolest shit. Because I was like, man, we argued all weekend long whether the gi was cheating or not. And he said, well, let's get in the ring and I'll show you if it was cheating or not. I was like, nah, I'm good. You're not going to submit me. You're not going to submit me because that's all he was doing was, again, he grabbed onto that ankle, whether it was the ankle, your wrist, whether your rotator cuff, he was grabbing onto a body part. And that's when the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, a lot of cats weren't doing that initially. But when he came on the scene and he was dominating the thing, you had to learn some Brazilian jiu-jitsu to compete and then to learn how to protect yourself from the holes and body arms that he was doing. And if you couldn't protect yourself from that or get out of that, yeah, you're in trouble. The match is over. Because as wide as a punch, you can take a wide as a punch or a hard as a punch you can take. But once you sticks your arm out there, he's locking onto your arm. And he's gonna make you submit. So that was wild. Royce Gracie, I would never forget that because it was like, wow, this little dude is gonna beat the kung fu artist, the grappler, the Olympic wrestler. I forget the dude's name, but the Olympic wrestler came out there, had nothing for him. 240 pounds of solid muscle and steel, but Gracie's 175 pounds ass would tie him up, and that'd be end of it. That would be the end of him. It was pretty incredible. I give if you can't fight without doing, you can't be a UFC guy without knowing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's impossible. It's impossible. So yeah, we got some good fights on the docket coming up, Cleavon. Pay attention to Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia this weekend. We'll have a chance to talk about that on a Sunday special show. Cleavon still, although Otani's interpreter, went to the authorities and absolved Shohei of any gambling, any scandal. Cleavon's not ready to accept that. He needs some forensic documents saying Shohei was absolved. Cleavon, what's talk to us about? I would say talk to us about the Mariners, but chances are they're still under 500, so we know how that goes. Go ahead and give us an update on Major League Baseball. What's happening in the league that you want to talk about?
Well, actually, Cam, the Mariners just came off a 3-game sweep of the Cincinnati Reds. Finally got their offense going. Only gave up.
They're 9-10. Enough Mariner talk. They're 9-10.
Okay. So for what's going on in the rest of the Major League Baseball, not a lot. No team has really separated themselves from any of the others, and we're just kind of everybody doing the marathon run.
So you don't want to talk about the Dodgers?
No, not really.
Yeah.
No, not really.
I mean, the Dodgers had 12 wins. Nobody in Major League Baseball have more than 12 wins, do they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's early, so.
Who? The Yankees and the Orioles. Yeah. The Yankees and Orioles actually have 13 wins. Yeah, Boots. Mediocre. I mean, that's about what the Mariners are.
Yeah, there's been no separation at this point, and it's that's kind of how it is. I mean, the teams with the higher payrolls kind of get off to kind of a quick start, and then they kind of come back down to earth, and the teams that have to battle a little bit, they kind of go through their growing pains or whatever, and kind of getting back into the swing of things, and kind of take it from there. So we're still in April, so.
Okay. So maybe next week your boys will climb out of the doldrums and be above 500 and be worth talking about on this show here.
That's fair.
But until then, I mean, they're behind the Anaheim Angels of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They're behind those guys. So I don't understand what the hoopla is about. But you and my brother, well, you guys sure waste your money at the. Oh, how the Crickets do? What are they? Maybe that's what you can tell us. Something exciting about the Mariners. What's the delicacy testing this season? What's the delicacy this season? Are they selling? Or do they got? And they have the chocolate crickets. Do they have squirrel tail or something for you guys to eat?
Yeah, no, they have Ivar's fish and chips, fresh cut cod.
Well, we know about the Ivers.
That's a delicacy, yeah.
I mean, that's nothing.
Philly cheesesteaks, that's a delicacy.
Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah. I forgot what the name of the rib joint is. Pretty good. That's a delicacy as well.
No squirrel feet. No squirrel feet. Sauteed squirrel feet.
No squirrel feet. No. Although I'm sure you've had that down in Alabama a few times, right? Possum casserole and whatnot.
Actually, I haven't, but I don't know what they're coming up with all this ridiculous stuff up there just to entice the fans because the play on the field isn't enticing. So they bring you guys in with these,
right. I get where you were going with that.
Rabbit eyeballs or something.
I get where you were going with that. Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm just trying to figure it out, man. I'm just trying to figure it out. Fans, we want to thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. Give yourself a round of applause for being here tonight. As always, thanks for tuning in, Boots.
Thanks, Boots.
Boots, this is for you. This is for you, Boots. Yesterday's home runs don't win today's game, Boots. Yesterday's home runs don't win today's game. And that's from the great Babe Ruth, Cleveland. Meaning You can't rely on what you did in the past for tomorrow's success. You gotta keep recreating your success, fans. You gotta keep recreating yourself, recreating your success. Okay. Yesterday,
Kawhi Leonard didn't say that. Who you say said that?
the great Babe Ruth, Kawhi
Oh,
Leonard.
Babe Ruth said that.
You'll see him this weekend. Keep your eyes out. You see
Will
Kawhi.
we?
And yeah, you'll see him Sunday
Sure?
in Dallas.
Okay.
You see, fans. You see what I deal with. You see what I deal with. Just for those, one more time for those on the back, fans. Yesterday's home runs don't win today's game. You got to keep recreating yourself. That's from the great Babe Ruth. But again, fans, we thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. We do a Sunday special every Sunday morning for you guys. Morning on the West Coast, is afternoon here on the East or in the Central District, actually. But we thank you guys for chiming in. We'll touch up with some playing games, and we'll have a complete playoff schedule. Playoff will actually started by the time you hear our voice next on Sunday. So thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy your week, fans. Enjoy the rest of your week. As always, fans, thank you for making our voice your choice.